going to be jumping into a video here about building a home from scratch in The Sims 1. The build tools are a bit different than the other Sims games, the more current Sims games that we know and love. So I'd like to say that I regret not doing this a bit earlier in the series, since we are now going to have this nice house to only play in a few times before the series ends. But oh well, I guess. You know, it was still really fun to build it, and we at least know that Miss Atomic will be living for the rest of her time in this gorgeous little modern mansion I'll be making her. But I guess it also kind of wouldn't make a ton of sense for her to have this fancy house at the beginning, obviously. So she's finally made it and is able to afford this house, which is also, it's pretty obvious that technically, in the sense of the game, The Sims 1 is a very difficult game to really try and earn everything on your own compared to the other games, where if you were to try to do that, it would be maybe a little bit easier. So I did not stick to any money limits. I did use the money cheats. In The Sims 1, there is only a single money cheat that you can use. It's called Rosebud. It gives you 1,000 simoleons each, but there's this little trick, a cheat within a cheat, if you will, where if you add 2 semicolons, or like just a spam a few semicolons after Rosebud, it will send up this like no cheat exists error. But if you just keep spamming the enter button, it still gives you the 1,000 simoleons. So you could just keep spamming enter, 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 even though it's telling you there's an error, and it gives you all your money. So you get all your money. So that's what I did a lot in this build. I had to keep doing it over and over again. So Miss Atomic, we'll say she's got some royalties rolling in, giving her some money. But as you can see here in the build, I tried to make it's sort of like a center courtyard open thing. I really like building houses like that, and I ended up having to create some, because there's the roofs in The Sims 1 are only like automatic. You don't get to choose where they go. So if there's walls in a certain area, like enclosed, anywhere that's enclosed, it'll create an entire roof. So I had to create these sort of walkways up above also on like the second floor to make it so that there was no roof in the center area, because I did want to put a pool. I didn't want to have it like enclosed or darkened on top. And originally when I started, I went with a preference of mine. I love Southwestern inspired builds, and so I did this kind of tan stucco walling. And then I realized that it didn't, I was going to try to do something very fancy and high class. And I knew that there was a lot of like fancy wood. We can see these doors that I was trying to put in are this kind of expensive looking wooden door and stuff. But then I realized that I think Miss Atomic would rather have something that sort of emulates Studio Town. You know, it kind of looks more like Studio Town. So I did end up eventually changing to a different walling that's kind of matches the Studio Town vibes. Just it's technically still a stucco walling, but it's this white color. And I did a lot of just like that, like modern fancy, like kind of a little bit uncomfortable looking stuffy modern stuff. I just repeated a lot of words there, and apparently it worked. But yeah, I was just kind of experimenting with different things. I also, of course, the house did not end up perfectly symmetrical. I know that might annoy some people. I don't really care that much about it. I like building kind of unique shapes in The Sims 1, and I actually have a decent bit of experience with building in The Sims 1 engine, I guess you could say. Not so much The Sims 1 itself. If you're unfamiliar, shortly after The Sims 1 came out, they came out with something called The Sims Online, which was essentially you were playing The Sims 1, every other graphics looked identical to The Sims 1 and everything, but it was an online like multiplayer game where you would have active jobs, which are really fun. And it was the first place that those sort of active jobs were introduced in the Sims franchise, actually. And you would also you'd play online with other people, and you'd build your little lot and all of this. And but I unfortunately did not get to play the original The Sims Online back in the day. However, there is a reboot of it that has been around since, I want to say 2017 was when the open beta started on it. And what it is, it's a free fan-made reboot called Free Sims Online. I'm sure that probably some folks watching this video probably are familiar with it at this point. I think probably anybody who is really into actually watching Sims 1 videos would probably already be in the know with that sort of thing. Any obsessive Sims fans out there. But anyway, I started playing Free Sims Online quite a lot when it first came out or first became available to the open beta, as they called it. Although I don't believe it's actually out of beta yet still. I don't know if it's ever going to be. Yeah, if you're interested, it's called I think it's freeso.org. I don't really play it that much anymore. Occasionally I'll go on there. But yeah, I was really obsessed with it for like a few years. I think probably until 2019. 2019 is when I think I kind of stopped playing it, I think. But yeah, I did a lot of building lots. What's fun is the lots, you can make them public, so other people can come visit. There's different lot categories and things and reasons for people to come and interact with your lot. And yeah, I actually had, for those watching who maybe are familiar with The Sims Online and you're wondering if maybe I wonder if we've run into each other. I think about that sometimes with as many Sims fanatics as I talk with here on YouTube. I used to play, one of my main Sims that I used to play on there was actually called Jim Morrison. He was designed after Jim Morrison from The Doors. But I had an offbeat lot that I actually won an award for. They have an award ceremony every year for like the best lots and stuff, and I won a silly little award for my weirdo lot for Jim Morrison from The Doors. But he was kind of inspired by like the Sims Studio Town, where you're walking around and you run into random celebrities. That was the idea of why I kind of made Jim. But anyway, but it got me very familiar with the build and buy in this game. And so, starting this makeover, I hadn't really sat down and tried to do a real build in The Sims 1 in a long time, or a Sims 1 style game. And but opening it up, I immediately like remembered all the stupid little wall coverings and the flooring, because I've gone through all of them a billion times and all my different redesigns of all my lots and stuff on that game. One thing that's really interesting here in The Sims 1 is some of the you've been seeing me here putting down this like fencing. It's interesting because in The Sims 1, not all of the fencing goes down in the same way that you would put down like walling, where you draw the wall. A lot of other, Sims 2, 3, and 4 all have the fencing that you draw just like you would a wall, but in The Sims 1 they have this fencing that's essentially like an object that sort of, when you put them next to each other, they change their shape. And so I ended up having to fiddle with that a little bit, because you have a little bit of control over how it appears, but you have to kind of get the spacing right. But yeah, I love these palm trees. I like stuffing palm trees anywhere that I can. And then we finally have our pool stuck in here. One of the things about the Sims 1 build mode is there is no undo button. So if you, there's times where I accidentally put down walling in the wrong spot, or I realized that I hadn't put down walling in a spot that I should have, or flooring or something, or I accidentally deleted something, I would have to go back in the catalog and find either that particular wall covering or that particular floor covering or something, and put it back down. There's no eyedropper tool. You can't just eyedrop over to do the where it like selects the thing that you want it to bring it up in the catalog. So yeah, so it's definitely not a super, like, I guess you could say an intuitive, user-friendly compared to nowadays. You know, I'm not a big fan of The Sims 4. However, I do recognize that one thing that The Sims 4 does really well is not only create a sim, but the build and buy mode. That's kind of the best part of The Sims 4 in my opinion. I wish that we could take the Sims 4 build buy mode and smush it into The Sims 2 somehow. I think that would be wicked cool, or The Sims 3 also. One thing in this video that I did was, at times I usually, when I do speed build videos, I trim a lot of me fiddling around with like certain decorative objects or certain wall coverings and stuff like that, or certain different options with decorating. But there were times where I purposely left in a lot of that fiddling that I wouldn't normally do, just to show off the objects in this game, because that's really where this game shines, is the unique and sometimes bizarre options that are out there. They are very limited, and that's another thing I did forget to mention. I do have a very small amount of custom content in The Sims 1, actually. I've had it for quite a few years now, so I barely know where it came from. If you happen to be playing The Sims 1 and you would want something that you see that you know is custom content of what I'm putting down, I can try to track it down for you, but who knows if that website still exists, but I could try. But so some of these things that I have are custom content, but most of the things I'm putting down are the in-game objects, and of course I do have the complete collection, so I have all the expansion packs. And even with all of the expansion packs and everything, like, there's really not a lot of stuff. Not compared to, like, I think about the Sims 3 has so much stuff. Like, I have almost all the store content from The Sims 3, plus almost all the expansion well, I do have all the expansions and stuff packs, or most of the stuff packs. And there's like, it's like overwhelming how much stuff, how many objects and different themed objects and stuff. Meanwhile, in The Sims 1, there's just so few options. And I ended up having to repeat a lot of decorative objects like the plants. I'm somebody that tends to want to like put lots of plants in things. And I had to just keep repeating certain plants. Like in this kitchen zone here, we have a few repeats of plants, and you're going to see a lot of those around. And it got to the point where even though it frustrated me and I wanted more variety, I had to accept that that was just the nature of this game's, buy mode, and that I was just going to have to make it work. And then in some areas, I just had to accept that I couldn't stuff them as full as I wanted them to be. And I had to just kind of go with it and kind of have maybe a slightly emptier room than I originally wanted it to be. Also here I decided to put our beloved 5-star, the dead cat. He's in between the hedges here, these fancy flowery hedges. Hopefully his ghost can escape. I don't think there'll be an issue. He has the hallway, if it goes, I assume he could spawn like in the hallway on the other side. If the ghost cats, or the ghosts in general, cannot go across water. I guess we'll see if he ends up like stuck glitching there or something. I'll have to put him somewhere else, but he's hanging out there for now, looking over the pool. So now some of these chairs that I'm putting in this little sitting room, like these white chairs, these funky white ones, those are custom content. I know that those kind of are, and there's a bunch of objects that match those that are. But yeah, my overall goal for this was just kind of very like poppy, bright colors mixed with like black and white and like modern looking stuff. And I wanted it just to be a little bit funky. One thing I also did definitely was I have a tendency, especially in this game, but as well as other Sims games, is to like throw down a wall and a floor covering, and then as I'm actually decorating the room, because especially with this one I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted in some of the rooms, so I end up changing the flooring and walling after I've got some of the objects in there. I was very frustrated with this particular dresser thing that I thought it looked like a very nice little display shelf, and I think that's what it was called in the catalog, but it ended up not being able to have anything on it. And there was a lot of objects that you like couldn't stack stuff on. I was trying to find the right kind of fancy thing to put all of her trophies on, which I wanted to mention. She also got another Simmy trophy. When I loaded up the lot and was I had to fast forward time a little bit so that it would be daylight. That's while I was recording this because I didn't want to do it at nighttime. And they gave her another Simmy award. So she has 2 of those now, like the one where Marilyn Monroe shows up on your lot with a paparazzi dude. This time the paparazzi guy got back in the van with her, or back in the limousine. On our one of our episodes where that happened, she just like drove off without him and he ran off the lot. But this time he actually got back in, so I guess he learned his lesson. But yeah, so she has 2 Simmy awards. One thing I do really love in this game, unfortunately they don't have them so much in the following games. I know there's probably custom content versions, and I understand why they don't have them, but I still think they're funny just because, you know, it's a video game thing. It's just a video game. They have the animal rugs, so like they have the zebra one in this room. My favorite statue is this dumb gold statue with the dude with boxers on. It's my favorite of all the statues in this game. I used to use that one a lot in the free Sims Online. But anyway, yeah, I like they have the zebra rug. They have like 2 bear rugs. They have a polar bear and a grizzly bear, and then they have a tiger rug. And I think I used the tiger rug somewhere. I might actually use the polar bear one, I don't remember. But yeah, they also have some fun pet objects. I just put that tall case that I put in is a lizard. It's an iguana. So they've got a pet now. Hopefully that one doesn't die. It might. I think they die really easily, the little pets, but you just kind of replace them and pretend they didn't die. So, but yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting with what I want in a lot of these rooms, and I just wasn't sure how to fill the space. One thing I did think about is I want to throw a house party in our next episode when we actually play in this household. Now that I've got the house all stuffed full with all kinds of things and fun activities or fun objects, I wanted to throw a house party. I think that would be fun. See if we can get a really good house party. I was really set on having a nice display area for all of her awards. And this room in particular gave me a lot of trouble. I kept screwing around and trying different things and nothing felt right. But still, it's fun in this game to experiment with all the different objects and try to use them in kind of unique ways and stuff, and like bringing the pillars inside and all sorts of stuff. I think that this zebra couch is probably also one of my favorite objects in the buy mode. I also got really obsessed with using these like weird bubble machine thingies. Not bubble machine, they're like a bubble half wall thing. They looked like something that would, I'm pretty sure I'd seen over in like a Studio Town office somewhere. There's another a case of an object without any slots for me to put stuff on. That little end table, which was cute, but I definitely, this room kind of formed into some kind of like little hangout lounge area, which if we have a nice little party, everybody could hang out there. I don't remember if I ended up fitting a pool table in here. I really wanted to. Or maybe I put something else. I don't even remember now. I just barely like finished building this last week and I don't remember what I did. One thing that's also interesting with building in The Sims 1 is sometimes, so when it comes to paintings and stuff, when the walls go down, if I'm not mistaken, or at least this was how, I think this is how it works, is when the walls go down, the painting still stays up. So if you have like too many paintings on all your walls, your views get blocked for like actually just seeing what's going on in the room. So you have to be kind of careful. Either like with this build, I did pay a little bit of attention to like what direction I would be looking at the lot through. So it's, I think from the angle where I'm kind of coming from the front of the lot was where I had kind of planned on playing from, but you also kind of have to look at it from other angles to make sure it kind of looks okay from every direction. It isn't empty on a certain area, but it's still kind of funny where you have to kind of think about things only from a particular direction in the game just because of the isometric viewpoint. In The Sims Online, speaking of the isometric mode and stuff, they implemented a 3D mode quite a while back, and they've been doing like remeshes of objects, of the Sims 1 objects in 3D. So if you happen to be somebody whoever plays, there's a fun little thing I like to brag about, is where if you are playing Sims Online and you're playing in 3D mode and you have your Sims painting on the easel, 2 of the 3 possible paintings that come up are my own paintings. I donated them there's one that's a portrait of a woman, and that's a painting I had done, intending to I was just inspired to paint a new version of the woman painting that comes up in the traditional isometric view of the painting, and then the person who's doing the remesh asked me if they could use it, and I said yeah, sure. And then they asked me to do another one for them. So two of the paintings in Free Sims Online in the 3D mode are my own paintings. So that's kind of a fun little fun fact if you happen to play it or ever try playing it. Oh yeah, I also found this disco ball, and I think it's custom content. I put it quickly in the what was it? What do you want to call it? The party room. I don't know if I think it, when I hit play, I let the lot play a little bit, and it actually does spin, so that's kind of fun. So we have an actual active animated disco ball hanging out in the party room. Although, I mean, let's be real, it looks like, I think the whole of the house feels like one big party room in the end. I mean, it's not really just one party room. The whole place is like a unhinged party going on 24/7, I think, in the end. That's the kind of the final aesthetic, I think. Some of the stairs in The Sims 1 are also really cool. They just have a really nice, just that same character, I think, is just really what you end up saying. I don't know what else to say, because that's just really what it is. And I don't think, as much as like The Sims 2 has its own character, none of the Sims games have really lived up to the same, like, funky character of The Sims 1. That's one thing that it will always have. I love this heart tub. This the OG heart tub. I think there's a custom content version for The Sims 2. I don't know if any of the other games really made one. The Sims 2 kind of had their own love tub. It's like a I think it's a aspiration award or something for like romance sims or something along those lines, but it's like it's just like it's a regular square tub, but it's fancy and got like candles and all that crap. But the heart tub is the original. I don't know if it came with, I must have come with Hot Date expansion pack. I almost said it, I wondered about the vacation lot one, but I don't think that's it. I think it's just the Hot Date expansion is where that one would have come with. But yeah, so we have a fun little hot tub. Also, in the process of me fast forwarding to get the lot to be daylight, like I mentioned before, before I had started building, I wanted things daylight. Miss Atomic Bomb and Mr. Brightside asked me if they could have a kid like 3 times in a row, and I said no every time because Miss Atomic Bomb is a working lady, and I don't feel like dealing with a kid. Not that a working lady can't have a kid, obviously, but in her situation with The Sims 1, the babies in The Sims 1 are so freaking annoying, and they take like 100 years to age up. And then they're just perpetually a child unless you have a special mod, which I actually do have the special mod, but then you can't control how their face looks when they age up. They might turn into an old lady. It's a whole thing. Yeah. I tried to find stuff to fill these hallways. That was one of the areas where I had to accept it was just going to be kind of plain. I also, in some situations, wasn't 100% sure how well the routing in The Sims 1 would be. Mainly down in the courtyard where there's only like one tile around some parts of the pool there. I'm not familiar enough with like the Sims 1 routing, at least like the OG, just like offline Sims 1 untweaked routing. You know, but we'll see if there's anything wrong. Obviously we'll just have to tweak it. But I think it'll be okay for the most part. I also really love this green couch that I'm putting in this room here. It's really nice. Just has a lot of character. I would probably own that couch in real life. I think I would own that. The zebra one, I don't know if I'd own the zebra one in real life. Maybe if it was really cheap and I found it behind a dumpster, I might take it. But if I had to pay for it, I'd pay for the green one, I think. I think my intention with this room was more of like a study of some type, trying to kind of make like a little office area. Eventually I do add like a nice nice computer and stuff. There's that tiger rug. There's the tiger rug. I think the tiger rug's my favorite one of the rugs. It's got a lot of characters. It's got the head sticking up. Also, the zebra print wall in this room was a must. Every time I build in The Sims, I feel like in The Sims 1 specifically, I feel like I have to use this dumb zebra wall. There's something about it that it calls to me, and I must make a room of zebra print. I actually really like how the bedroom turned out. I think it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, eventually, I have to on the sort of balcony areas. I tried to create these fun like wall pieces with the fencing in between them, and I did choose to delete those because I realized that they didn't have any roofing above them because they weren't fully enclosed. And in The Sims 1, you only have 2 levels to build on. Like, I cannot, if I wanted to put just like flat flooring on like the 3rd floor, if I just wanted my house to have like a flat roof, or like technically no roof and just like tiles or something, I couldn't do that. Like, you can't put anything on the 3rd level. It's only level 1 and level 2. So it annoyed me because it was just like empty walls with nothing above them. So I did delete it, even though realistically you'd never have seen it. I'm never going to play with the roof up. The only time you'd notice it is from the neighborhood view, and I'm not going to really be looking at the neighborhood view that much, so maybe, because I do regret kind of getting rid of it. That's the hard part sometimes, is in the moment when I'm building, I make a decision, and then when I'm editing and watching it back, I'm like, I think I liked it better the other way. And then it's like, well, I just gotta commit to it because now it's on footage, so. But it's possible I might go back in and edit these fun little accent wall things in. I guess it's not really an accent wall, it's just like a little separator wall. I don't know what it's called. But here's our desk with our fancy computer. I think that computer I put down might be the custom computer. I have a few custom PCs. I'm just kind of mainly doing some of the last touches here. See, this is where I realized that there's no roof covering these balcony sections. And so I chose to go in with this iron, I assume it's supposed to be like an iron black fencing. I imagine it's iron. In my head canon, it's iron. But, so, I also had kind of forgot to fix one side of the balcony anyway, so it kind of worked that way. But yeah, so here we are with the final piece. I'm kind of just doing a little, I hit play. At this point, Mr. Brightside is away at work, and I just had Ms. Atomic Bomb wander in and use her little new oxygen machine. She's got her very own oxygen machine. She doesn't need to go and use that nasty one that they never clean at Studio Town Spa. She can use her own. She's got her own oxygen machine. Get all that nice fresh oxygen straight from the Sims, from the Sim Alps. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, this was fun. I really like building in The Sims 1. It makes me inspired to do some, like, whenever I build in The Sims 2, to do more of this kind of funky style inspired by The Sims. So we'll be playing in this lot pretty soon as Miss Atomic. Yeah, and if you're coming to this video without being familiar, we do have a series right now where we're working on building up a sim to a 5-star celebrity in The Sims 1. So I'll have that linked somewhere here at the end of screen. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.